something recently figure you might appreciate. Had an argumentation professor once said he did not consider himself an expert or authority, but that he did consider himself very knowledgeable about his subject. Thought of you and your thoughts. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Although if you're a professor on a subject, I would say that you're an expert. You can call yourself an expert in that case. You're teaching the subject, you're an expert. But once you like get to the top of a field, you realize how little you know about that field in reality. Like, and you know what it takes to know more, to be considered an expert. You know, at one point I felt like I knew at least as much as Stephen Hassan. More, even. And then I talked to the guy on my channel, and he taught me more. He taught me stuff I didn't know. Don't ever underestimate people or their knowledge, and don't ever overestimate your own. That's the trick. You should never overestimate your own knowledge on a subject, and never underestimate others. 34. I would never call myself an expert in this. I'll call myself a cult communicator, just as good, in my opinion, for my purposes, just as good on YouTube. Appreciate the comforting thought that by knowing even more about stuff, I do realize I know nothing at all. Yeah. Job as an expert isn't to know everything in your field, but rather to push the knowledge of the field further, blazing the trail for others. Well, if that's the one you use, then I guess you could call me an expert. I'm incredibly hesitant about using the term expert, especially to apply to myself about anything, because I have always felt like a degree was necessary, you know, to give yourself that title. Not always, I suppose, but in most cases at least. Expert has very, very unique connotations, very unique meaning, and implications that come along with it. So I just don't use the word expert. Gives people the incorrect impression sometimes. So, anybody's ever been on a jury and listened to how long an expert witness has been asked questions to prove that they're in fact an expert, just so they can be asked like 3 questions about a case? Yeah, I've never been on a jury before, but yeah, I agree. There's a lot involved in proving that you're an expert. And how am I supposed to prove that I'm a cult expert? You know, how would I go in front of a jury and tell them I'm an expert? What makes you an expert, Mr. Morgan? I have 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. No, they would laugh me out of the courtroom. I don't feel like I could, in good conscience, call myself an expert. I know a lot about this field, a lot. But use of the word expert is not fair in my case, I don't think. I could publish papers, Loonty. That's a good point. I could do that. And I've thought about it. I want to write a book about this, and I have things to say in the book. I believe that I've advanced the area of cult research. And it's particularly based on an article I wrote and put on my website, telltaleatheist.com. I stick it to the top. I wrote an article on how different levels of cults, different levels of extremism and stuff like that. And I feel pretty comfortable with the idea that that paper is advancing the field. But I need to put it in the form of a book. I do truly hold expertise in procrastination. Me too. And that's why I haven't released a book yet. We would argue you have years of experience researching cults and explaining why they operate, a personal experience yourself. No, you wouldn't want to be an expert. But that's how an attorney would explain it in trial. That's true. I would. I mean, if it's justifiable to call me an expert. I would love to be called one. I would like it if I was deemed an expert. That would be good. I've even considered going back to college to get like a degree, a higher degree in this. But I just don't feel like it's justifiable right now to call myself an expert in cults. That's why I don't. That's true, though. You know, an attorney probably would describe it as me having experience in it, having come out of one myself, and spending time researching and writing video essays. You could say I've written video essays on cults for 5 years. Tracking their movements, tracking their belief systems, and their all that stuff. So it's not like I have 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's not like that, I guess. It's just, you know, I don't have a PhD in the field. I think of you as a cult expert. The fact that you downplay how much you do know is a good sign that you're either very new to cults or very experienced. I guess that's true. I just don't want to give anybody the impression that I view myself as an expert. There are people out there that know more about the psychology behind this than I do. Far more. Like, you know, far, far more. But I would like to know more than I do. Like I said, I think it would be awesome to go back to school and get a degree in this. Get like a psychology degree. Like, you know, a PhD in psychology. I think that would be the shit. But something I realized is I'm really bad at school. I've always been really bad at school. I'm bad about doing homework. I'm bad about turning it in and showing up to class and the whole 9 yards. I'm just bad at it. Plenty of online universities that are legitimate you could get a degree from. That's true. I could try something like that. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I will. Maybe one day. Do you like the idea of writing a book? 10 out of 10 would purchase hardcover. I would love to write a book, for real. I think that would be the shit. And I'm halfway through writing one. It's just a long, arduous process. Wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. That's true. I grew up in the South, fundamentalist land. It's been a long journey, but I'm still Christian. Okay. Your videos help me heal from trauma. Thank you for bringing awareness to these destructive teachings. Keep up the amazing work. I appreciate that. I do my best to help people who are in my similar situation. You're a humble guy, Owen. It's a good thing. Well, thanks. I guess so. I appreciate that. Just remember, if everyone's an expert in their own personal life. That's true, and that's why I'm okay with calling myself an expert in Jehovah's Witness beliefs. I call myself a Jehovah's Witness expert comfortably. I'm okay with that. Jehovah's Witnesses have a very unique belief system that is pretty convoluted and hard to understand sometimes. But, yeah, I'm comfortable calling myself an expert in Jehovah's Witness belief, for sure. Life experience programs are available at most accredited traditional and online colleges. I found 3 colleges in New York that offer it. Oh, that's cool. Really? Interesting. Well, I may have to look into that. Like I said, I'd love to call myself an expert. There's a lot I really don't know about a lot of things, cults and religion related, but I have been studying it for a very long time, 5 years.